I had a really good start to the year. I've played some good golf lately, but not as good as I did starting the year. So I'm going to have to turn it on. Phil Mickelson has just stepped back into the spotlight, and the reaction is instant chaos. His words have stirred questions about his role in LIV and the possibility of a return he keeps denying. The tour is buzzing, fans are confused, and the tension is rising fast. And today I'll explain what's driving all of this. Captain crumbling. Phil Mickelson's place in LIV Golf looks very different from what he promised when he first joined. He is still the captain of the High Flyers team, at least on paper, but his year has been filled with problems. His biggest setback came when he withdrew from LIV's 2025 season opener because of a shoulder injury he said happened during a gym workout. LIV quickly replaced him for the event, and the team's results did not get better. That moment set the tone. Fans now think Phil might play or he might suddenly disappear again. His schedule feels fragile. His health feels unsure, and his presence feels optional in a league that once used him as a headline attraction. And when the fans don't get to see all the best players play, that's difficult. And the model that is on LIV is what is needed to be successful. We saw it even on last week's signature event. Players will do what's good for them. And not necessarily play unless they are contractually obligated, just like in the NFL and baseball and every other professional sport. And that model, as it's brought to LIV, is allowing us to move throughout the world and make professional golf a global sport. And his public statements have also changed. Phil used to sound bold and full of big promises. Now he sounds like a veteran trying to defend a decision the public still questions. In interviews, he repeats that LIV is growing the game and that the events feel more relaxed and fun for fans. He even contrasts this with what he calls the anxious culture of PGA Tour crowds. LIV investors love this message. It shows loyalty, but older fans, broadcasters, and traditional golf voices often think his words are tone deaf. They see them as excuses, not explanations. His social media patterns add more confusion. Phil's activity on Twitter has been scattered. A few defensive replies, a few likes that spark rumors, and several posts that vanish as quickly as they appear. Every deletion becomes its own story. People see it as proof that Phil is trying to control the narrative but keeps slipping. It's the same cycle every month. Phil posts, golf media reacts, Phil deletes, rumors explode. LIV will continue to put him in marketing videos and interviews because he is still a big name. But behind the scenes, everyone can see that his real influence is shrinking. His results have not lifted his team. His health is uncertain. His social media creates drama more than clarity. The Phil Mickelson, who once stormed into LIV with swagger, now feels like a symbol of its awkward transition. Loud in theory, shaky in practice, and caught between what he promised and what he can still deliver. Whispers rising. The comeback rumors never die, not for Phil Mickelson. Every few weeks, someone whispers that he might return to the PGA Tour, and the internet acts like golf is about to split open again. But the truth is far less glamorous. There are two comeback fantasies floating around. One where Phil plays a handful of PGA-sanctioned majors or invitationals, and another where he re-enters the full swing of regular tour events like nothing ever happened. Both versions sound dramatic. Neither version is likely. The negotiations between the PGA Tour and Saudi-backed investors keep creating sparks, and every spark turns into a rumor. Some insiders drop vague lines about players wanting to return. Former PGA icons casually speculate on talk shows. Sometimes a respected figure makes an offhand comment, like Fred Couples, hinting at Brooks Koepka's intentions. And suddenly, Phil's name gets dragged into theories he never supported. Even when Phil says nothing, people act like he said everything. Yeah, I don't know where to even start with the momentum change that we've been seeing and the tailwinds that we've been having, the support, the sponsor interest on a live level as well as on a team level, the interest in the attendance and the fan support throughout the world in the regions that we're going to. It's just been, and then you look at some of the things that the teams and the players are able to do together to help promote live, promote the sport, and promote the game. His own statements don't help. Phil often goes on the defensive when critics bring up the PGA split. He talks about cancel culture and insists he isn't bothered by the backlash. Some analysts think he's protecting his brand. Others think he's testing public reaction. Whatever the motive, every line becomes fuel. The moment another LIV player hints at wanting to play a PGA event, the rumor mill spins Phil right back into the center as if he's the puppet master behind every negotiation. But a real comeback, the kind headline writers dream about, would require more than wishful thinking. Phil would need a legal pathway, approval from sponsors, and a clear agreement between the PGA and LIV. He would also need enough forgiveness from golf's old guard to avoid a PR disaster. Right now, none of that exists. The Kappa couple's situation shows how tense things still are. Jay Monahan's cautious public stance shows how fragile the dant remains. So the next time someone claims Phil is planning a return, remember the truth. The hope is louder than the evidence. Money mirage. Behind LIV's bright lights and bold promises sits its messiest storyline. The one Phil Mickelson can't escape even if he tries. His role in LIV isn't just playing golf. It's a whole business model built around being a captain, a recruiter, and a walking brand message. His high flyers duties include on-camera features, sponsor meetings, and team-building responsibilities that sound more like running a startup than running a golf team. The owners want results, publicity, and a storyline. Phil gives them some of that, but his on-course performance and unpredictable social media often give them the opposite. Then there's the money. The giant headline numbers. The famous 9F figurer deals are not simple cash deposits. Insiders note that the payouts often include deferred compensation, equity shares, and long-term ambassador obligations. On paper, it's huge. In practice, it's complicated. And for Phil, who has businesses, instructional brands, and investments built on trust, being the face of a shaky financial model creates real pressure. Every rumor about delayed payments or shifting structures becomes another thread in the live stable conversation. Whenever that conversation heats up, Phil's name sits at the center like a magnet. The criticism from PGA-aligned analysts adds another layer. Boreal Chambly, for example, has turned any Mickelson comment into a chance to critique LIV, the PIF, or Phil's legacy. Every heated quote, every deleted post, every half statement becomes a talking point on shows and podcasts, even when it doesn't affect contracts or sponsor deals directly. It shapes the public perception, and perception is the one currency Phil cannot afford to lose. This is the real tension. Phil is paid well today, but the long-term value of being LIV's face is uncertain. His captain duties demand loyalty. His results offer little stability, and the financial structure behind LIV is still young, still loud, and still questioned by traditional golf circles. If legacy used to be his strongest asset, now it feels like the thing slipping furthest away. Pressure mounting. LIV Golf's financial story has always sounded like a fairy tale told by an accountant having a nervous breakdown. Giant checks, glittering promises, and numbers so big they barely feel real. But in the past year, the fairy tale has started shedding its glitter, and Phil Mickelson is caught right in the middle. Recent filings show Levy's UK entity posting losses close to $500 million in 2024, with total losses crossing the billion-dollar line. That's not oops, we overspent on merch money. That's structural, systemic, headache-inducing loss, the kind that makes even the biggest investors start asking uncomfortable questions. And those questions always circle back to the captains, especially the high-profile ones. Phil signed one of the biggest headline deals when LIV launched, but insiders say the giant numbers often mask a messy mix of deferred payments, equity arrangements, and long-term ambassador duties. The outside world sees $200 million. The inside world sees a complicated contract with multiple layers. For Phil, that complexity matters. His entire off-sea course empire, the instructional business, the product lines, the investments depends on his image staying credible. But when LIV's financial foundation looks shaky, the face of the franchise starts looking shaky too. This is where pressure from the public investment fund trickles down. The PIF may have the deepest pockets in sports, but they also expect returns, interest, growth, momentum. They want storylines, stars, and audiences, not excuses, injuries, or deleted tweets. Captains feel that pressure most. They're expected to recruit better talent, promote harder, produce content, and act like many CEOs, even when their own swings are betraying them. For Phil, who's juggling injury recovery, team duties, and the constant swirl of gossip, the squeeze is impossible to hide. The brutal irony is that Phil helped build the LIV brand with swagger and rebellion, but now the very structure he helped sell is weighing him down. Big money can buy a lot of things, but it cannot buy a legacy, and that gap between paycheck and perception grows wider every time the balance sheet drops another bombshell. Friction spreading. If you want to understand Phil Mickelson's current phase, don't look at his press conferences. Look at his deleted posts. They're tiny digital crime scenes. In 2024 and 2025, his ex-Twitter feed has become a pattern. A sharp reply here, a defensive swipe there, and then suddenly nothing. Delete, rewrite, silence. And each time he tries to pull the plug on drama, the drama grows bigger, louder, and somehow funnier. Reporters treat these deletions like treasure maps, each one revealing where Phil's real frustrations live. We want all the best players in the world to be able to compete against each other more often and on a global scale. And the model that I was a part of for decades didn't allow for that. We never played against each other. We didn't have elevated events. We never played all of us against each other outside the majors. And it was not able to move internationally when they did have tournaments and WGCs internationally. A lot of players didn't play, and that's disappointing from a sponsor standpoint, from a fan standpoint. You know, when you're paying for these events and television and you don't know what you're buying, that's frustrating. One of the most explosive examples came with his jab at Fred Couples, who had made comments that some people felt undermined Brooks Koepka's agency in joining LIV. Phil fired back, calling it a low-class jerk move. It was the kind of phrase that instantly sparks 10 hours of sports radio debate and 20 headlines about golf civil war. Then gone, deleted, cleaned up like it never happened. Except, of course, it did because screenshots never die. The conflict exposed just how thin the ice is between PGA loyalists and LIV defectors, even years after the split. Inside the high F flyers, the tension takes a different shape. Captain duties in LE are less about strategy and more about show business, content shoots, sponsor spots, recruitment meetings, smiling through awkward marketing moments. The owners want spectacle. The players want wins, and Phil, stuck between injury doubts and PR obligations, becomes a magnet for skepticism. Staffers have hinted that the off-sea course workload can overshadow team cohesion. When a captain is busy filming promos instead of practicing, whispers start, and whispers always turn into storylines. Everywhere Phil turns, friction follows. It's not one big explosion, but a slow-burning string of small fires. A deleted tweet here, a press conference dig there, a sideways comment from an old rival, a sponsor expectation he didn't meet, a team duty he had to reschedule. Each moment alone is nothing. Together they form a picture, a legend stuck in a loop of mistakes, rumors, and damage control, content engine. For anyone creating content, YouTubers especially, Phil Mickelson isn't just a golfer. He's a storyline machine. His journey through LIV has turned into a 3-act saga designed for viral thumbnails. The power move, the optics collapse, and the big question. First came the money-fueled entrance, bursting with confidence and rebellion. Then came the awkward second act. Injuries, losses, deleted tweets, financial leaks, critics circling, and sponsors shifting in their seats. And now comes the third act, the one creators salivate over,